A ton of people accidentally regain most of or all of the weight they lost during their fat loss phase in the next 1 to 2 years after that fat loss phase. Now, this happens because they accidentally don't prepare for the diet after the diet. Whether biofeedback is horrible and you need a break, or you've reached your goal and you're ready to transition into everyday life back to maintenance, this video is for you. You and I will cover who needs to consider reverse dieting, how to reverse diet, a few different ways to do it, and then transferring into maintenance and everyday life so you can enjoy and maintain those results that you worked so hard for. Part 1, we're gonna go through 3 examples of you and where you might be at and if you should consider reverse dieting or not. So you number 1 is goal reached, right? Obviously, this is specific, right? Obviously, you're never gonna reach your actual goal because after you reach a goal, you'll have a next goal, and that will always happen whether you think it will or not. But you reached your goal that fat loss phase was for, right? If you didn't set one, that's already a mistake that you made. Always set end dates or end goals so that you don't run yourself into the ground. But if you're not doing that, at least track your biofeedback so that you can take a break if negative feedback starts to take a dive for multiple weeks in a row. But you, number 1, right? You reach your goal. Let's say you lost 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. It's time to go back to maintenance, right? You need to at least, number 1, take a break, or number 2, since you reached your goal, go back to regular life, which is maintenance. So you, number 1, is you've reached your goal for that fat loss phase and it's time to go back to maintenance. Who should consider reverse dieting? You, number 2, is close and negative. So you're very close to your goal, within pounds maybe, within 10 pounds maybe, but biofeedback is coming back negative consistently, and your consistency is the worst it's ever been. You're hungry all the time. People that you love and that love you think you're being an asshole recently. Maybe it's September, October, you hear someone playing Christmas music and you freak out and you're like, why the fuck is this person listening to Christmas music, right? You're just an asshole, but you're normally not an asshole. You're just being an asshole because you're hungry all the time. You're cheating 1 to 4 times a week on your diet. You're hangry, irritable, trouble sleeping, maybe you're constantly cold. It's time to take a break. So you, number 2, this is someone who should highly consider reverse dieting. And you, number 3, is chronic dieter. Now there's so many people like this, right? You've been trying to diet for a long time, maybe years, and you say, I've always been eating in a calorie deficit, but I never can lose weight. It's because you're trying to do it for too long and too hard. You should only be eating in a calorie deficit for 6 months maximum before taking a month break at maintenance, then going back into a deficit. I promise in your head this might not make sense, like why am I taking a break if I'm trying to lose weight? Why would I eat at calories that won't make me lose weight? It's because you cannot maintain that. Nobody in this world has the willpower to maintain a calorie deficit until they reach their end goal if you have more than 30, 40, 50 pounds to lose. Also, metabolic adaptation is a real thing. It's a normal and healthy part of your body, right? When you eat more calories, your metabolism will grow. And when you eat in a calorie deficit, your metabolism will adapt to that, right? This is completely normal. But when you're a chronic dieter, you're just gonna keep running your metabolism into the ground. So reverse dieting is something that you should highly consider. Part 2, how to actually reverse diet or transfer to maintenance. If you're already finding the video helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos just like this, helping you lose fat, build muscle, and increase your confidence. If it hasn't helped you yet, you can wait and consider it later. So how you do it, we're gonna go over 2 options, option A and option B. But option A is for people who are more, not so much scared, but the daily weigh-ins or the scale in general makes them anxious when they hop on it. However, if this is you, I highly consider taking your weekly averages of your daily weigh-ins. This has removed the anxiety from the scale for so many of my online fat loss clients. Recently, this client named Amy was completely petrified of the scale. She hated daily weigh-ins. And after 5 weeks of daily weigh-ins and me taking the weekly averages and showing that to her, she's actually said hopping on the scale and seeing it go higher than the day before doesn't have me worried at all. So this really can take your anxiety away. I'll link a video up here that I made that can help you do that. So maintenance, right? Getting back to maintenance, you know, or you should know, if you don't, you'll learn right now, that maintenance calories, you're not gonna be gaining any fat on maintenance calories. It's the amount of calories it takes to maintain your weight. But going to maintenance from a calorie deficit, you're going to gain weight. This won't be fat. think about it. All the extra food volume in your digestive system alone is gonna add weight, but also eating more carbohydrates, more sodium, that's gonna make you retain more water weight, and that's absolutely gonna influence the scale a little bit. Although, all this being said, not everybody can be rational 24/7, so if you still do have scale anxiety, I'm not gonna judge you, and here is your plan. You are option A. So let's say you were eating 1,200 calories per day in your calorie deficit, right? Week 1 of your reverse diet, you're gonna add back 100 calories to your everyday calorie number right away, right? So instead of eating 1,200 calories, you're now eating 1,300 calories per day in week 1. Then in weeks 2, 3, and 4, you're gonna be adding 50 calories to your daily calorie number, right? So week 2, you're gonna be eating 1,350 because in week 1 we added 100 and got 1,300, right? And then week 3, 1,400 because you're adding 50. Then again, week 4, 1,450 because you're adding 50 again. Then in weeks 5 and 6, you're gonna go back to adding 100 per week. So in week 5, you'll eat 1,550. In week 6, you'll eat 1,650. And then in weeks 8 plus, I'm gonna go over what to do in part 3, which will be the last part of this video. But I wanna go into option B for people who don't have scale anxiety or who are trying to push the barrier of that fear and step into that uncomfortable situation. Option B is also my personal favorite, so let's go over that now. So option B is for people who are rational thinkers, although this is not slandering anybody who's gonna take option A, but this is for people who take comfort in logic, right? You know eating at maintenance is not gonna be having you gain fat. So you take comfort in the logic, in facts, in evidence. This is for you, option B. It has you back to maintenance in 1 month, which I think is amazing. But in option B, let's say again, you're eating 1,200 calories a day for your daily deficit. In week 1, you're gonna add 300 calories back immediately, right? So right away, week 1 of your reverse diet, you're going to get 1,500 calories per day if you're eating 1,200 calories, right? And then in weeks 2, 3, and 4, you're gonna add 100 per week, right? So week 2, you'll be eating 1,600, week 3, 1,700, week 4, 1,800, and then again in week 5, we'll go over what to do right now. Part 3, the final part, is maintenance 101, transferring into maintenance. So after you pick option A or option B and you do the reverse diet, you need a plan and some structure for what to do next. Although if you went through the reverse and in week 8 or 9 of option A or in week 5 of option B, you're still not maintaining your weight, then increase or decrease calories by 50 to 100 until you start maintaining your weight. And then after you're maintaining your weight, you need to decide what to do next, like we just said, right? So you can either be in a calorie deficit again, you can go back into a calorie deficit after 1 or 2 months to continue losing fat if that's your goal. You could stay at maintenance and maintain your results, or you can go into a slight surplus for a while and go into a gaining phase, optimizing muscle growth. Here is a question that you can ask yourself to help you figure out which is right for you. Is it smart for me to go back into a calorie deficit right now? Or do I need to work on eating around maintenance and making this sustainable? Or do I need to go into a slight surplus because I have goals of building more muscle? I wanna get stronger, I wanna grow muscle, I wanna look more defined, I wanna increase my metabolism. If those are things you wanna do, go into a gaining phase for 6 to 12 months. If you're person 2 or person 3 in part 1, where we did you number 1, 2, 3. If you're person 2 or 3, definitely do not go back into a calorie deficit yet. Take some time at maintenance, go into a gaining phase, especially if you're person number 3. That way you can build your body up a little bit before you try to lose more fat. An important side note that I don't see anybody talk about is you don't have to get massive. Your goals are specific to you and what you want to look like, what kind of physique that you want. You don't have to want what everybody else wants, right? A lot of people want to be as big as possible. Your goals don't have to reflect what the masses want. You don't have to be as big as possible. You don't have to be as skinny as a Victoria's Secret model either. Now let's get into the bonus frequently asked questions. Bonus FAQ, question number 3. We're gonna go backwards, work our way up. What is the main goal of reverse dieting? For 2 main reasons. Number 1, to build your body and metabolism up to make future fat loss phases easier, and number 2, just to smoothly transition into maintenance or into a surplus phase. Can I lose fat in a reverse diet? So absolutely yes, especially if you're doing option A, which is making you stay in a calorie deficit for a little bit longer to reduce the amount of weight you're gaining on the scale, right? Not fat, weight that you're gaining on the scale. That's gonna happen, it's normal. But yes, you can definitely lose fat in a reverse diet in both options, option A and B, more likely in option A. But this is not the main goal of reverse diet, so do not expect fat loss if you're going into a reverse diet. And question number 1, will I gain fat in a reverse diet? And the answer here is always the same for will this make me gain fat, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that's gonna make you gain fat, the only thing, is eating in a calorie surplus consistently for weeks and months. I hope this video helped you. If it did, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for more videos to help you lose fat, build muscle, and increase your confidence.